Let's talk about it. So, I know a lot of you are asking, Kempire, how come you didn't interview Kandi? I wasn't asked. It's okay though. It's all right. But a lot of my fellow other content creators did get an opportunity to speak to Kandi yesterday. She did a press day with YouTubers, which is another reason to love Kandi. I know a lot of you think I'm paid by her. Clearly, I am not. She spent the time yesterday doing multiple interviews with content creators, answering all of their questions. Our friends over at the House of Aaron got shout out to Aaron because you got this moment because you asked the right questions. So there have been all kinds of rumors about Kandi's relationship with Carlos King. For those that don't know who Carlos King is, he was an executive producer of Real Housewives in Atlanta, in New Jersey. He's produced reality TV. He is now the producer of Love Marriage Huntsville and Love Marriage DC and Bell Collective, shows that we talk about and recap here all the time. I've talked about the rumors that Carlos was fired because he was the producer behind allegedly the Phaedra, Portia, and Kandi debacle that happened on the show. He has denied that multiple times. Okay, got to say it all. But there has seemed to be an issue between Carlos King and Kandi, but she's never really spoke on it at length until now. So when she dropped by the House of Aaron on YouTube, Aaron asked her about, is there beef? Do you have beef with Carlos King? What is it? One of the Kandi fan pages that follow me on Twitter were the first people that I saw say this, that Carlos was the producer that was trying to steal and sell the Xscape bio. And that's when Xscape reunited to stop this from happening. All right. Let's take a look at what Kandi says. Let me just cue this up for you guys. So, because I think it's important to hear Kandi say it in her own words.
Okay? So first of all, the main reason, my main issue with Carlos is he is the one who stole my group's life story and sold it to TV1. And for that, I just can't get past it. He had been working with us that entire season on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Last year, he was with us. Him and Todd had already had some like little issues, business issues, because they were doing a production company together. So they already had some things they had dealt with personally. But, you know, we was trying to move past that and still work together on the show because he was executive producing. What season was that? 9 or whatever?
Yes.
And he was his last year. Okay. So let's say the season wrapped in November. In December, someone tells me, I was talking to a friend. I was like, hey, we should do like a movie about, you know, our group's life or whatever. And they were like, it was a director that Todd and I were speaking. And they was like, somebody's already doing it. And I was like, what you mean somebody's doing it? And so in my mind, I'm thinking it was one of my group members or something. And they was like, yeah, it's a network that's already like, because I took a meeting about directing it. And I was like, what? Now, mind you, just wrapped season 9. The season in like either top of December or November, end of November right there. December, I'm hearing that this movie has been sold to a network. So I come to find out a couple weeks later, I'm trying to find out what is going on, and come to find out it was, in sidebar, his other producing partner, one of the producers that worked for him, who was also at the time I thought was super cool, had called my mom, was like, oh yeah, we want to do a interview you because we're trying to do a documentary about girl groups or something. So we want to ask you questions about, you know, Xscape. My mom was going to do it or whatever, but come to find out, he was the person who had did the deal with TV1 to sell our life story. He was, and my mom and it was going to try to ask my mother questions about us unknowingly to get more information, I guess, for the show. So anyway, I just thought that was the lowest thing that anybody could ever do.
Wait, so but how
And
does he
I
have the
really
rights to
just feel
y'all's
like
story?
he didn't have the rights to our story. What I found out, because of course, I was calling lawyers and everything, and I found out at the time that when you're a public figure, people can do
Unauthorized.
they can do unauthorized stories about you.
Right.
And at the time, we had already done like what's that, behind the music type of thing on TV1 or whatever.
Okay.
No, TV1. Remember,
Unsung.
how they Unsung, yeah. So, they had certain information that I guess they could base the movie off of. But my thing was, I was like, never once, all them years we have been around each other, he had never once told me that he was trying to do a movie about us, and to be able and to go behind my back and to do that, and that's our life story.
Right.
I was like, I can't fuck with him ever again.
Wow.
I did not want to. I did reach out to him at first. He didn't answer the phone because I had just heard it, so I wasn't sure that it was him. So I was calling him to like, yo, like, what is this? He didn't answer my calls. But then when we did some things to start like reaching out to the network to try to get the whole situation shut down, then all of a sudden he reaches out to me. And I didn't want to talk after that. I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't ever have to talk to you again. And that's just how I feel. I'm like, that is the lowest of the low. Our first, what was that? First spinoff was the wedding, or one of them. I think our spinoff was the first show that he was executive producer for. I literally fought for him to be executive producer of my show, to be the lead executive producer.
Right.
So for you to have somebody that you went out for, and I always respected him as a producer, to do that to me, I was like, I have no respect for him. And so for him to now, every time he turn around, he got something to say about me, I'm like, I just give him no energy. But that right there, my life story, that shit makes me emotional, and it pisses me off. So yeah, I don't have nothing for him.
Awkward silence. As always, here on the channel, we cite our sources. I'll be posting the link to the full interview with the House of Aaron in the description of this video. So here are my thoughts. Now that she said it, I've heard the rumors about this. Like I said to you before, a Kandi fan site was the first people that I saw mention that Carlos was the producer behind trying to steal the Xscape life story. Now we understand, Carlos likes to say that, oh, no, we don't have any issues. No, Kandi just confirmed that y'all have an issue. And based off the sneaky, underhanded things that Carlos and his team tried to do to try to get that information from Mama Joyce? Mama Joyce. Y'all tried to get the story from Mama Joyce. I could not believe my eyes. I did not plan to talk about this until I saw it right before we went live. This makes me look at Carlos King in a whole different way. Look, there have been all kinds of rumors about Carlos and how he produces his shows. And, you all have things to say, including myself. But this, to me, and when she started getting choked, when Kandi get into the crying voice, I was like, I didn't expect it. Because this really hurt Kandi. Because here's the thing. It's one thing to have a production company try to do this. She worked with Carlos. As she said, she also tried to, she really advocated for him to be the executive producer of her spinoff. So for him to do that, when you work with this person, you're laughing in my face, but the whole time you're behind my back doing this? Instead of coming to me and say, you know what, I have this idea. What do you think about this? You have the connection to the person. So why would you not have that conversation? Or maybe this is just the way that you are. I have to say, I am truly disgusted. Carlos just disliked the video. It's all right, Carlos, we know you watch. But Kandi has never spoken out about this. At least not to my knowledge. This is the very first time that she's confirmed that Carlos did this. Now it makes me, did anyone in the chat, did anyone confirm if she thinks that he was behind the whole rumors that were being spread by Phaedra during that season, and why Phaedra ends up being kicked off the show and he ends up no longer being with the show. I felt for Kandi. You know, people like to dog Kandi and say Candy's this and blah, blah, blah. But again, like she said, because she's a public figure, people can do this. They can make, you know, these pictures. Look, we've seen it with Whitney Houston. We've seen it with so many other, you know, we've seen it with Michael Jackson. We've seen it with so many different celebrities. But it hurts a little bit more when you know who the person is, when you've worked with this person. Literally, Todd and Carlos produced together, and they had a falling out. And it hurts even more when it's a Black person doing it to you. Carlos, has Carlos responded on his social media? You know he's going to respond, but he's going to probably monetize it and talk about it on his podcast. And a lot of you, you know, you're like, oh, why he can talk about, you know, the Housewives. He was a producer, and I've even said that he can't talk about the Housewives because he's a producer. But here's the thing: now every time you talk about Kandi, people are going to be like, "What's the motivation behind this?" Oh, because she stopped your bag about stealing her life story. Stealing her life story. I'm glad that Kandi talked about it. I like transparency with the people that we see in these realms. And now that she's mentioned it all, what do you guys think?